thank you very much for being here. I see a lot of new faces. I'm Jill Kiefer, President of the Arts Council, for those of you who don't know me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got a great program today. I just want to make a couple of brief announcements to let you know how we're winding down our year at OAC. On Tuesday, December 11th, there will be an opening of a showing of artwork at the Ossining Library by Ed Malsberg. This is a small showing. Ed will be turning 100 this year. He's our oldest OAC member. So definitely let's go support him at the library on December 12th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And the library is closed then, so you'll find a place to park. On Wednesday, December 12th, we have our annual holiday potluck right here. Feel free to come. Feel free to bring a friend. You could bring a gift if you want to be part of the Yankee swap meet. And you're also welcome to bring some food, because it's a potluck. You'll be getting a notice, those of you on our mailing list this week. Any of you who want to be in our mailing list, make sure you sign the book with your email address at the front desk. And I'll let you know. And then our final big event for the year will be on Saturday, December 15th. We will be having Ellis Paul here live at the Steamer. Very, very fine musician. We've had some wonderful music here this year, and we're excited to close out our year with Ellis Paul. So you can get tickets on brown paper tickets. You can buy them at the door if there are seats left. And doors open at 7:15. Show starts at 8. So, on that note, I will introduce our wonderful speaker, who is also an active OAC member, Stephen Worthy, and he's going to talk about the Kress collection, the Kress Legacy in Ossining. When Steve's talk is over, we're going to put the chairs in the closet just to give you room to move around because his reception follows. So if you're feeling ambitious and you want to bring your chair over, feel free. Otherwise, just leave it and we'll pick it up. Steve?
Yes, you ready?
I am ready. Is there any question and answer after the question? Yes, there will be time for Q&A after Steve's talk. Okay. So, Stephen Worthy, welcome.
Thank you so much. Good to see everybody, some new faces, and some long time. Good to see you all. No, we're going to go back old enough. Now, 1300 AD, where the Kress story starts, but that's basically how the exhibit is set up. Just so you know, it will kind of move from the right and then around kind of this way if you want to work a little more chronologically. Okay. What I will be doing is trying to get the highlights, because this was a very, very, let's just say, very busy family who got involved in a lot of projects. So we'll be focusing on, again, the Kress collection and the Kress Legacy. That was at Cedar Lane Park. Has everybody here been to Cedar Lane Park? Yep. Raise your hand if you've not been there. So I kind of got an idea. That's good. So we can do away with some of the... So let's start with the three founding members of the chain, the Five and Dime chain. And that was Samuel H. Kress, 1863 to 1955, so he lived to about 92. You know, most of the Kresses had very long lives. He was the chairman of S.H. Kress Company, which was the Five and Dime chain, over 400 stores total worldwide. He was also founding the Foundation in 1929, which was right after the Wall Street crash. I think he knew people were in need of different foundations like a lot of the folks. He was a member of the SAR. A lot of people know about the DAR, Daughters of American Revolution, because he had a relative who fought in the American Revolution. That's usually one of the prerequisites for being a member. He was also involved with Sleepy Hollow Country Club, and he was a trustee of the Met Museum of Art in New York City. He was also the president of the National Gallery of Art from 1945 to 1955. I'll be going into a little bit where he had a stroke in 1946. That's actually the third of 3 strokes. And this gentleman who lived at Cedar Lane Park, Rush Kress, his brother, really took over from about 1946 on. And he was a Bucknell alumni, that's in Pennsylvania. Also, he was a member of Sigma Chi fraternity. A lot of people have never been in fraternities. I went to a college, Colgate, which had fraternities. And I was being, scouted, but I just didn't feel I wanted to do that. But at the same time, Sigma Chi has some of the most prestigious individuals in the American executive, what we'll call the executive class. Presidents of companies, chairmen of the board, probably, and just on Sigma Chi, there's probably like close to 100 pages of the names, and you'll recognize a lot of them. Captains of industry in steel, railroads, and commerce, you name it, someone has been a part of that Sigma Chi fraternity. So Rush was also the president and treasurer of the chain, again, Sons of American Revolution. Sleepy Hollow Country Club was sort of like a Gilded Age roster of folks that belonged to that club. And so, one of the things you're going to see with Kress is the value of networking. Before there was an internet, before people talked about networking like they do today, okay? We also have the Union League Club because there was a gentleman who fought in the Civil War who was named Samuel Kress. Samuel H. Kress was named after him. Sam was born, matter of fact, about 3 weeks after this particular gentleman was shot in the Gettysburg Battle. That was when the South was literally in the North, in Pennsylvania. And their furthest point they reached was around Gettysburg, and the Kress family lived in a town called Sladdington, which was very close, probably like 10 miles away. And again, as I mentioned before, Rush was a stand-in for his brother. Now this is Claude W. Kress, who was also involved with the Five and Dime chain. He actually became the president. He was handpicked by his brother in 1924 and took over. And so he was again his partner from the beginning. Mentioned the presidency here. Again, member of the American Sons of the American Revolution, and founder of a chain that's what's called the National Retail Association. Now they're called the American Retail Association. It was actually formed because there was a lot of publicity at the particular time in the 1930s where you had folks saying these businesses are owned by absentee owners. And it's horrible. They're in New York, and here we are in New Brunswick, Georgia, or out in Oregon, or out in Texas, and these people don't care about us. They're so distant. And a lot of the prices, of course, like Walmart today, think of the Five and Dimes almost like the dollar stores today. Matter of fact, I predict there'll be a time when instead of 5 and 10 being 5 cents, there'll be 5 and 10s, but everything will be $5 and $10. So when that comes, think of the Five and Dime. History is like a spiral that goes around like this, but it's never the same, but you will see similarities. And there's quite a few similarities. Okay, last thing I'll say about Claude for the time being is he was a big game hunter and had a huge 11,000 acre tract called Buckfield Plantation down in Georgia, not too far from Charleston, maybe about 30 miles. And he was an inventor. He had a lot of patents that made the Kress stores look different than Woolworths, W.T. Grant, J.J. Newberry, all his various competitors, McCrory. Five and Dime, after Woolworth established his store, were rampant. And there were even little mom and pops that had one store, Five and Dime. There was one in Ossining. If you look on some of the photos, you see downtown Ossining, you'll see a Five and Dime where Hilliker's or where the Ossining Open Door is now. It used to be a Five and Dime there. Okay. And there were also 2 Five and Dimes on Main Street. There was the Woolworths on Main Street, which is now being refurbished to be, I don't know what, but we'll see when it opens. And then there's a pharmacy also on Main Street that used to be J.J. Newberry's. And J.J. Newberry actually got his start working for Kress before he went out on his own. And his first name was Josiah. I thought there was only one guy who had a name Josiah. He was in charge of a band called Slambovian Circus of Dreams, which is another crazy name. Okay? And the last thing I will say about Claude was that he had a huge library of mercantile publications of every sort. Broadsides, banners, posters, advertising material, going all the way back to the 1600s. And that was when, say, the Medici family of traders, they were Italian merchants who were also patrons. They kind of set the model for a lot of philanthropists in the future. Because as we've seen in government, and we've seen in the corporate area, what'll happen is, when a lot of money has been made, you make enemies. you put other people out of business. There's sometimes lots of forces that are trying to compete with you. And we see competition all through this industry and in art collectors. So Kress, as he was collecting his art and different things like that, now we're here with Rush H. Kress in a wheelchair. He died when he was 83, so he's about 81 here. He had a heart attack. And that's John F. Kennedy in the middle there. This was in 1961. This was a particular program that was called the Great Kress Giveaway. And I'm going to show you a couple of photos of the opening of the National Gallery. And they had so many works of art for the National Gallery. This is John Walker on the right, who was their first curator and their second director. Okay. One of the things, again, you'll see with this is that, again, there's so much material. I had to really curtail certain things, but feel free to just go on the internet. You can go to my Facebook page, which is Save the Kress Estate at Cedar Lane Park in Ossining. You can find a lot there, and just put Kress in your search engine, and you'll be overwhelmed. You'll be there for days if you really want to. Okay, so this is the National Gallery of Art, opening 1941, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, and I've pointed out Samuel H. Kress on the left. Of course, in the center you can see FDR. That's Eleanor Roosevelt to his right. And on the podium, I'll show you a little close-up of some of the other folks that were there. We have Paul Mellon, the son of Andrew Mellon. Okay, Andrew Mellon did not live long enough to see the opening of the National Gallery of Art. He donated $9 million for the building and another $7 million for the art collection. He only had close to about 120 paintings. Now, if you've ever seen the National Gallery of Art, which I've seen, this building is immense. Probably as big as, I'd say, 10 football fields, give or take. Right? So, one of the concerns was that if this gallery opened and was looking so empty, it would be a bit of a dud at the opening. So I'll show you where Samuel H. Kress used his leverage to get his collection. And this is a gentleman, Charles Evans Hughes, who was actually a New York state governor. He was the head of the Supreme Court at this time. And the gallery has a charter which says that there must be 4 government officials and 5 private citizens on their board, because it's a partnership between government and private enterprise. Okay, now this is the estate, and I need to see things. I just felt that this was interesting because this was an interesting character by the name of Edwin A. McAlpin. The estate at Cedar Lane Park was bigger. It used to be a part of Sunshine Children's Home and Rehabilitation Center, which is next door. It's a total of 72 acres. So it was a poultry farm before that called Rock Hill. So Rush kept the name Rock Hill when he had his estate. But, I mean, photographs of prize chickens was a little new to me. But you would be amazed how big this was. They had a whole slew of trade publications selling you the parts, giving you information how to raise chickens. Because people wanted to be self-sufficient. They wanted to have their own food. I remember growing up in Ossining. My family moved here in 1962. And there were, now usually Italian. They would have rabbits in their backyard. They'd have chickens. Matter of fact, the first girl I dated had a pet chicken. And I was like, you want to meet my pet chicken? Okay. So, that was part of my Ossining experience there. And this is just one of the advertising banners. Now, I'll go into quickly the gentleman. Edwin A. McAlpin actually had a patent. You know the cigarette packages, somebody buys a pack of cigarettes and they have that plastic wrapper? He patented that. So every pack of cigarettes is sold at those wrappers. Ka-ching! Okay, he was also the owner of the Hotel McAlpin, 33rd Street and Broadway. It was the largest hotel in the world at the particular time. It isn't anymore. 34th Street and Herald Square. It's now become condominiums. Okay, Hotel McAlpin. There's a little phrase here that I find interesting. Unfortunately, it might be a little too small. I'm used to working with 8-foot by 8-foot projectors. And it says here, Hotel McAlpin offers you a home comfortable in every detail for unaccompanied women. The entire 6th floor is reserved. So if you were a single woman there, you'd have your own floor. Okay? Very handy. And he married a woman who was related to the Brandon family of the scenic Ossining, or I should say historic Ossining waterfront, the Pill Doctor, famous Pill Doctor. And he also lived at a home which is the Victorian home in Ossining. This is a picture of it. Of course, it's had additions and different things on it.